Welcome back today. First up, the 2005 California State Quarter, specifically the one with the D mint mark, in good condition. We'll talk about its design, historical importance, and most importantly, how much it's worth today, so let's dive in. Released in 2005 as part of the 50 State Quarters program, the California Quarter commemorates the Golden State's admission to the Union in 1850. The reverse design, created by artist Robert D. Graves, showcases a beautiful image of the California grizzly bear along with a rising sun and the famous bear flag. The words California and E pluribus unum are inscribed on the coin, along with the year 1850 to mark the year California became the 31st state. Now, the D Mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. This is an important detail because the Denver Mint produces a large number of U.S. coins, and the D Mint mark is found on many of the state quarters from this series. Now let's talk about the condition of this coin. The one we're focusing on today is in good condition, which is one of the lower grades in the numismatic grading scale. Coins in good condition typically show significant wear, and much of the finer detail in the design may be worn away, but the coin remains recognizable and has a good amount of surface detail. So how much is a 2005 California State Quarter with the D Mint mark worth today in good condition? Let's break it down. In today's market, a 2005 California State Quarter in good condition typically sells for around $67,000. This is pretty standard for most state quarters in good condition, especially those that are not rare or in particularly high demand. However, the value can change if the coin is part of a complete set or if it is in a special variety. For example, if the coin has a high-grade version or a specific error, the value could go up, but for a standard good condition coin, the price range tends to remain between $73,000. One way to ensure you're getting the best value for your coin is to have it professionally graded by organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) or Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS). A higher grade coin with a certified grade could significantly increase the coin's value. Now, if you happen to find a 2005 California State Quarter in excellent condition, like MS65 or higher, that's where the coin's value really starts to climb. For example, a coin in mint state condition could fetch anywhere from $75,000 depending on the specific grade and demand at the time. Even though this 2005 California State Quarter in good condition may not be worth a lot, it's still a fantastic addition to your collection. After all, this coin represents California's rich history and its momentous entry into the Union. Plus, it's part of the larger 50 State Quarters program, which has become iconic among coin collectors. Up the 1970 Washington Quarter with a large date and D Mint mark, but this one has some damage. Let's explore how its condition affects its value in today's auction market. The Washington Quarter series has been a part of U.S. currency since 1932. And by 1970, quarters were made with a copper nickel-clad composition, rather than silver. The D Mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The large date, characterized by prominent numerals, makes this coin stand out in the series. Now, let's talk about the condition of this coin. While it's always great to find a coin in mint or near mint condition, this 1970 quarter is in damaged condition. Whether it's due to wear, scratches, dings, or other forms of abuse damage can significantly lower a coin's value. In this case, the wear on George Washington's profile, the eagle, and other details are more pronounced. So what's the value of this 1970 Washington Quarter with a large date and D Mint mark in damaged condition? Normally, a 1970 quarter would be worth around $10 to $15 in good to extra fine condition, but with damage, it drops in value. On average, you could expect to see this coin sell for about $18 to $22 in today's auction market. The coin's value will depend on the severity and type of damage, but generally, damaged coins fetch lower prices compared to their undamaged counterparts. While a damaged coin may not be worth as much as a pristine one, it can still hold value for certain collectors. Especially those who are completing a date and mint mark set or who enjoy acquiring coins with history. Some collectors are more focused on the coin's era or its potential for future restoration than on its current condition. So there you have it, the 1970 Washington Quarter with a large date and D Mint mark in damaged condition may not fetch a lot in today's market, but it's still a part of the larger Washington Quarter collection. If you're a collector or investor, it's good to keep in mind how damage can affect your coin's value. Next up, the 1999 Georgia State Quarter, specifically a version with the large date P mint mark and a bit of an unusual condition. This one is color-shaded and in dirty condition. We'll take a look at what makes this coin special, its design, and its value in today's collector market, so stay tuned. Let's start with some background. This coin is part of the 50 State Quarters program launched by the US, mint in 1999. Each quarter represents one of the 50 states, and the series became incredibly popular among collectors. Georgia, the fourth quarter released in the program, commemorates its entry into the Union on January 2, 1788. The reverse design features Georgia's state outline, a peach the state's official fruit, and live oak sprigs, symbolizing strength. The phrase wisdom, justice, moderation appears on a banner beneath the peach, representing the state motto, and of course, we see the inscription Georgia and the date 1788. It's a classic design that honors Georgia's rich heritage. Now, this particular quarter has a P mint mark, which means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike some coins minted in limited quantities, the Georgia quarter was produced in high numbers, making it readily available. But with an added twist, this coin has a bit of color shading and is in dirty condition. Let's dive into what that means for its value. Coins that have been in circulation often develop a dirty look over time. Dirt and grime can settle in the coin's crevices, especially if it's been handled a lot. This can reduce the coin's visual appeal and, as a result, its value. However, it can also give the coin a certain character that some collectors find interesting. One thing to keep in mind is that cleaning a coin can actually reduce its value. Collectors generally prefer coins in their original condition, even if they're a bit dirty, since cleaning can sometimes scratch or damage the surface. So if you have a dirty Georgia quarter like this one, it's best to leave it as is. In terms of grading, this coin would likely fall into a lower grade category due to its color shading and dirty condition. Coins are graded on a scale from good G to mint state MS, with good representing heavily worn coins. Because this Georgia quarter shows considerable wear, it would likely fall under good to very good if it were graded, and this can impact its value. So, how much is a 1999 Georgia State Quarter with a P mint mark in color shade and dirty condition worth today? Generally speaking, coins in heavily circulated or dirty condition are valued close to their face value, around 45 cents. However, certain collectors might pay a small premium if the coin has an interesting look, but this is rare. Now, if this same Georgia quarter were in uncirculated or mint state condition, it could be worth more. Higher grade Georgia quarters can range from $48,000 depending on their grade, with some of the finest examples reaching up to $50. But for a coin in circulated, dirty condition, the value will typically remain low. If you're interested in finding more valuable quarters, keep an eye out for uncirculated ones or those with unique errors. Errors like doubling misprints or off-center strikes can dramatically increase a coin's worth. For regular Georgia quarters in circulated condition, though, the value tends to stay around face value. Even though it may not hold a high market value, this Georgia State Quarter is still a fantastic collectible, representing a slice of both state and US history. Next up, the 1972 Washington Quarter with a large date and D mint mark in extra fine condition. If you're wondering about its value in today's auction market, stay tuned. The Washington Quarter has been a staple of US coinage since 1932. By 1972, these coins were minted in copper nickel clad, replacing silver content, but they still have historical significance. The 1972 quarter is part of a very large mintage with over 250 million produced, but certain variations, like the large date and mint mark, still attract the attention of collectors. The large date designation on the 1972 quarter refers to the more pronounced numerals used for the year. The D mint mark tells us this particular quarter was minted in Denver. The large date was part of a change in die styles and can be identified by the noticeably larger and clearer numbers compared to the small date variety. Now, let's talk about what extra fine condition means. In this grade, the coin shows some light wear, but still retains a lot of detail. You can clearly see Washington's facial features and the eagle's feathers, with only minimal signs of wear on the high points. It's a coin that has been circulated, but still looks fantastic for its age. So, How much is the 1972 Washington quarter with a large date and D mint mark worth in extra fine condition on the auction block? This coin typically sells for around $27,000, depending on factors like demand and current market trends. It's a relatively affordable coin for collectors, especially given its well-preserved condition and classic design. While it's not a rare coin, its value can increase if you find it in a higher grade or if the demand spikes for certain years in the Washington Quarter series. To wrap it up, the 1972 Washington Quarter, with a large date and D mint mark in extra fine condition, is a solid pick for any collector looking to add a classic piece to their collection. While it's not one of the most valuable coins out there, it holds steady in value and remains a key date for many collectors. Next up, the 1979 Washington Quarter, a large date version with no mint mark in fine condition. Let's dive into its value in today's auction market. The Washington Quarter has been a part of American coinage since 1932, and by 1979, these coins were minted in copper nickel rather than silver. A coin without a mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. With over 500 million produced that year, the 1979 quarter isn't rare, but the large date variety does attract attention from collectors. The large date variety of the 1979 Washington Quarter is characterized by the prominent numerals in the year, which stand out more than the small date style. And because there's no mint mark, we know this quarter was minted in Philadelphia, which struck the majority of quarters that year. In fine condition, the 1979 quarter shows clear wear from circulation but retains major details. On this coin, you'll notice that Washington's profile has softened, but the main elements, like the outline of the hair and the eagle on the reverse side, are still visible. Fine condition is mid-range for circulated coins and holds value for collectors interested in date and mint mark variations. So, what's the value of the 1979 Washington Quarter with a large date and no mint mark in fine condition in today's auction market? This coin is valued at around $0.50 to $55. Although it's not a high-value coin, it has appeal as a collectible and is worth more than face value. While it may not fetch a premium, it's still a great find for anyone building a Washington Quarter collection or a date and mint mark set. To sum it up, the 1979 Washington Quarter in fine condition might not be the most valuable in the series, but its large date and no mint mark make it an interesting addition for collectors. It's a piece of American coinage history worth holding onto. Next up, the 2014 Great Sand Dunes National Park Quarter with the large date and the P mint mark in uncirculated condition. We'll talk about its design, significance, and most importantly, how much this coin is worth in today's market. So, let's get started. Released in 2014 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, the Great Sand Dunes Quarter commemorates the Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve in Colorado. This park is home to the tallest sand dunes in North America. Reaching heights of up to 750 feet, the reverse design of the coin features these iconic dunes, with a lone dune buggy and some riders making their way across the sand, highlighting the adventure and vastness of this stunning national park. Now, this specific quarter carries the P Mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The P Mint mark, which was introduced in 2010, is important for collectors because it's the first time the U.S. Mint used a mint mark on coins from Philadelphia. While Philadelphia coins were historically made without a mint mark, starting in 2010, coins minted in Philly started carrying the P mark for the first time since 1979. Before we go into the value, let's talk about the condition. The coin we're looking at today is in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been in circulation and still shows all the original details from when it was struck at the mint. Uncirculated coins are generally much more valuable than those that have been worn down or circulated. These coins typically retain their original shine and detail, making them highly sought after by collectors. Uncirculated coins are usually graded on a scale that starts at MS60 and goes up to MS70, with MS70 being perfect. The 2014 Great Sand Dunes Quarter in uncirculated condition can vary depending on its exact grade. A high-grade example, like an MS65 or higher, will fetch more in the market. But most uncirculated versions of this coin fall in the MS63 to MS65 range. So, what's the value of this uncirculated 2014 Great Sand Dunes Quarter today? Well, in today's market, the value for a typical uncirculated coin with the P Mint mark ranges between $80,000 This price can fluctuate depending on demand, but for the most part, the coin falls within this range for collectors who are after it in uncirculated condition. However, it's worth noting that if the coin is graded even higher, say in MS67 or higher, the value could jump. Coins in this grade have the sharpest details and the most pristine condition, and they could fetch anywhere from $86,000 or more, depending on market conditions and the coin's rarity at the time of sale. One thing you'll want to keep in mind is that the 2014 Great Sand Dunes Quarter, while uncirculated, isn't one of the rarest coins in the America the Beautiful Quarters series. These quarters were produced in high numbers, and even in uncirculated condition, the availability is pretty widespread. Still, it's a great piece for any collector who's building a set of these unique national park-themed quarters. Now, if you happen to find this quarter with any unique errors or varieties, that could change the value significantly. For example, if there are minting errors like double strikes or missing details, those coins might be worth more to collectors seeking out rare specimens. Overall, the 2014 Great Sand Dunes Quarter is a wonderful coin to have in your collection, especially if you're a fan of America's national parks or the America the Beautiful Quarters series. Its clean design and connection to one of the most iconic natural landmarks in the US make it a great piece to own, and with its uncirculated condition, it holds a modest value in today's market. Next up, the 1974 Washington Quarter, featuring the large date with no mint mark, in very fine condition. Stick around to find out its value in today's auction market. The Washington Quarter has been a staple in US coinage for decades, and by 1974, these coins were minted in copper nickel, not silver. With over 570 million quarters produced in 1974, it's a high mintage year, but there are variations within the series, including the large date. The lack of a mint mark means this quarter was struck in Philadelphia, the primary mint for quarters at the time. The large date variety of the 1974 quarter is identified by the more prominent, bolder numbers in the year. This style was the result of a change in the engraving die used to produce the coins. As for the mint mark, the absence of one confirms that this quarter was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. When it comes to grading, this coin is in very fine condition. In this grade, the quarter shows some wear from circulation, but much of its detail is still sharp. The profile of George Washington is clearly visible, with only light wear on the high points of the coin. The reverse side, with the eagle and the olive branch, remains well defined, which is typical for a very fine grade coin. So what's the value of the 1974 Washington Quarter with the large date and no mint mark in very fine condition on the auction block? This coin typically fetches between $30,000 or more, depending on demand and the overall market trends. While it's not one of the rarest quarters, the combination of the large date and very fine condition makes it more appealing to collectors. Collectors of Washington quarters or date and mint mark varieties often look for these coins, making it a solid piece for those building their collections. To wrap things up, the 1974 Washington Quarter with the large date and no mint mark in very fine condition is a great coin for any collector. While it's not high in value, it holds appeal for those looking for unique variations and well-preserved examples. Next up, we're taking a closer look at the 2001 North Carolina State Quarter featuring the large date and P mint mark, but with a twist. This one has a black color shade and is in dirty condition. So, what does that mean for its value in today's market? Let's dive in and find out. First, let's talk a little about the coin itself. The 2001 North Carolina Quarter is part of the 50-state quarters program, which began in 1999. This particular quarter honors North Carolina's entry into the Union in 1789. The reverse design features a beautiful depiction of the state's famous Old North State flag with a rider on horseback, a scene inspired by the state's history. Above it, you'll find North Carolina and the date 1789, a reference to the year North Carolina became the 12th state to join the Union. This coin carries the P mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The P mint mark was introduced in 2010 after many years of coins being produced in Philadelphia without any mint mark. However, this quarter was minted in 2001 when the mint mark was still relatively new. So, if you have this coin with the P mint mark, it means it came from Philadelphia, which makes it distinct from quarters struck at other mints. Now, let's talk about the condition of this particular coin. This 2001 North Carolina quarter has a black color shade and is dirty, which gives it a very unique appearance. Some collectors might see these as toned or aged, but in reality the grime or dirt on the surface can decrease the coin's overall appeal. Dirt, discoloration, and other marks like this typically lower the grade of a coin. When a coin is heavily worn or has accumulated dirt and grime over time, it usually falls into a lower grade category. Coins that are in clean, uncirculated condition are always more valuable than those that show heavy signs of wear or have discoloration. In fact, coins in dirty or poor condition can sometimes be more difficult to sell to serious collectors because of the reduced visual appeal. As for this black color shade, it's often the result of exposure to certain environments. Perhaps it was kept in a location that caused oxidation, or maybe it was subjected to moisture or other elements that left it with this unique look. In any case, this darkened color doesn't make it a rare error coin, but it does make it stand out from other quarters in the series. So, what is this coin worth today? For a 2001 North Carolina quarter in black color shaded, dirty condition, the value is generally close to face value, about $24,000. Most circulating state quarters in worn or dirty condition don't fetch much more than their face value. However, the story changes if you have a coin in uncirculated or pristine condition, but that's not the case here. Coins with heavy wear or discoloration like this one usually range from $29,000 to a couple of dollars, depending on their condition and demand. The dirty state of the coin means collectors aren't likely to pay more than a few dollars for it, if that. So if you were hoping for a big payout, unfortunately, this quarter isn't one of the more valuable pieces in the series. Now, if you had a pristine, uncirculated version of this 2001 North Carolina quarter in a high grade, say MS65 or higher, that could be worth anywhere from $36,000. Some of the best examples of state quarters in uncirculated condition have sold for more, especially if the coin is part of a complete, well-preserved collection. But because this coin has been exposed to dirt, it's in a much lower grade, likely in the good to very good range. In fact, dirty or toned coins like this one usually appeal to collectors who prefer raw, natural coins with some character. If you're looking to clean this coin, though, be cautious. Cleaning can actually decrease its value further, so it's usually better to leave it as is. So to summarize, if you have a 2001 North Carolina quarter in black color shaded and dirty condition with a P mint mark, the value will be close to face value, around $42,000, depending on demand, if you're holding onto this coin for its historical significance. It's still a cool piece of Americana, but it's not going to break the bank. Next up, the 1970 Washington quarter with a large date and D mint mark, graded in good condition. Let's find out what it's worth in today's auction market. By 1970, the Washington quarter had been in circulation for over 3 decades. The U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters that year, with the 1970 issue being one of the largest mintage years. The large date variety is distinguished by a more prominent, bold 1970, and the D mint mark indicates this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. One key feature of the 1970 Washington quarter is the large date. You'll notice that the digits are larger and bolder than previous years, a result of a change in the engraving die. The D mint mark, located on the reverse side, shows that this coin was minted in Denver, where over 290 million quarters were produced that year. Now, let's talk about the condition. This 1970 Washington quarter is graded in good condition, which means it has significant wear from circulation. In good condition, most of the details on Washington's face are still visible, but there is heavy wear on the high points, and the lettering may be slightly worn or even faint. The reverse side shows more wear, but the eagle and olive branch are still distinguishable. So what is the auction value of a 1970 Washington quarter with a large date, D mint mark, and in good condition? This coin typically sells for around $40,000 in today's market. While it's not a rare or high-value piece, it's still sought after by collectors who are interested in the specific details of the 1970 Washington quarter series. Good condition quarters like this one are usually more affordable, but still have value due to their age and historical significance. To wrap things up, the 1970 Washington quarter with a large date and D mint mark in good condition is a great addition to any collection, especially if you're focusing on date and mint mark varieties or just starting out as a collector. Next up, the value of the 1980 Washington quarter with large date, Denver mint mark, and graded in extra fine condition. Let's dive into its details and auction value in today's market. By 1980, Washington quarters were a staple in U.S. circulation. These quarters were struck from a copper-nickel composition, and the large date is a characteristic feature of that period. The D-mint mark indicates that this particular quarter was minted in Denver, which produced over 518 million Washington quarters that year. The large date style on this 1980 quarter is easy to recognize. The numbers are bold and prominent, giving the year a distinct look. Combined with the D-mint mark, this quarter is a desirable variety for collectors who aim to complete a date and mint mark collection. In extra fine condition, this 1980 quarter shows only light wear from circulation. Washington's profile and hair details are visible with some light smoothing on the high points. On the reverse, the eagle's feathers and wings retain their detail, giving this coin a sharp appearance that makes it a popular collector's item. So, what's the current auction value of the 1980 Washington quarter with a large date D-mint mark? In extra fine condition, typically, this coin ranges in value from $26,000 in the auction market. Its price is influenced by its well-preserved state and the demand among collectors for date and mint mark varieties. While it's not a high-value rarity, the combination of the large date and Denver mint mark gives it a slight edge over common quarters of lower condition. To sum it up, the 1980 Washington quarter with a large date and D mint mark in extra fine condition is an affordable collectible with a bit of added appeal due to its preservation. Next up, the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter. This coin is from the iconic 50 State Quarters series, and today we're taking a closer look at one that has a unique gold color shade, a P mint mark, and is in uncirculated condition. So what is this coin worth in today's collector market? Let's find out. Let's start by talking about the design. This quarter was issued in 1999 as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, commemorating Connecticut's entry into the Union in 1788. The reverse side features the historic charter oak, a symbol of Connecticut's resilience and independence, which dates back to colonial times. Above the image, you'll see Connecticut and 1788, the year Connecticut joined the United States. This quarter has a P mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 600 million Connecticut quarters in 1999, so while it's not a rare mint mark, having an uncirculated piece does make it more appealing to collectors, especially when it comes with a gold color shade. Now, let's talk about this gold color shade. Many state quarters, including the Connecticut design, were sometimes treated with a gold plating after being released, which isn't original from the mint, while this golden tint gives the coin a unique look. It doesn't increase the intrinsic value for most collectors because it's not an official mint-issued finish. However, there are collectors who enjoy these gold-plated pieces for their aesthetic appeal. Condition plays a huge role in a coin's value. Since this Connecticut quarter is in uncirculated condition, that definitely adds to its appeal. Coins in uncirculated condition, meaning they haven't seen circulation or wear, are generally worth more than coins in circulated condition. This is especially true for quarters from the 50 State Quarters program, as many people saved them in pristine condition to build complete collections. Uncirculated Connecticut quarters can be graded on a scale from MS60 up to MS70. Most collectors seek coins that grade MS65 or higher. A typical uncirculated Connecticut quarter with an MS65 grade might fetch around $26,000. But if the coin grades higher like MS67 or even MS68, the value could go up to $35 or more, depending on demand. So what does this gold color shade mean for the coin's value generally? Gold-plated quarters, even in uncirculated condition, don't add a lot of value over standard uncirculated versions. While the plating gives it a nice look, collectors who focus on authenticity may prefer the original silver finish from the mint. That means a gold-colored, uncirculated Connecticut quarter with P mint mark is likely worth around $40,000 today, depending on the buyer's interest. Keep in mind, while some quarters naturally tone over time due to environmental exposure, gold-plated quarters were often modified after being released by private companies or individuals. If you're ever uncertain about a coin's authenticity or value, consulting with a professional coin grader or dealer can help you get a clearer picture. To sum it up, if you have a 1999 Connecticut State Quarter with P mint mark in uncirculated condition and a gold color shade, its value today is mostly tied to its visual appeal rather than rarity. You're looking at a value of about $46,000, although some buyers might be willing to pay a little extra for a gold-plated version as a novelty item. Next up, the 1985 Washington quarter with a large date and P mint mark, graded in extra fine condition. We'll go over the history details and current auction value of this collectible quarter. In 1985, Washington quarters continued to be essential for everyday transactions in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P mint mark, produced over 775 million quarters that year. While they're common in circulation, quarters in extra fine condition with clear details and minimal wear are highly collectible. One standout feature of the 1985 quarter is the bold, large date. The P mint mark on the front side indicates that this coin was minted in Philadelphia. This coin marks a time before the design shift in the Washington quarter series, which adds to its interest for collectors. This coin is graded in extra fine condition, meaning it has minor signs of wear from circulation, but the fine details remain visible. In this grade, you'll see that Washington's profile is still clear, with only light wear on the high points of his hair and face. The eagle on the reverse side is also well defined, making it a desirable coin for collectors. So what is this 1985 Washington quarter worth in today's auction market? In extra fine condition, this coin generally sells for around $43,000. While it's not a rare find, collectors are willing to pay more for well-preserved coins, especially if they're completing a set of Washington quarters from the 1980s. The price can fluctuate depending on demand and the specific condition. So keep an eye on auction listings if you're planning to buy or sell the 1985 Washington quarter with a large date and P mint mark in extra fine condition is a great piece for collectors focusing on high-grade coins from the 1980s. Its value may be modest, but its appeal lies in the quality of its preservation. Next up, the 2016 Harper's Ferry quarter. This coin with a large date D mint mark and in uncirculated condition has gained interest among collectors. So what could this quarter be worth in today's market? Let's get into it. The Harper's Ferry quarter was released in 2016 as part of the U.S. Mint's America the Beautiful Quarters program. It's the third release of 2016 and the 33rd coin in the overall series commemorating Harper's Ferry National Historical Park in West Virginia. The design on the reverse side features the historic John Brown's fort, a symbol of both the American Civil War and the abolitionist movement, making this a meaningful addition to the series. This particular coin has a D mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint produced over 223 million of these Harper's Ferry quarters, so while it's not a rare coin, coins in uncirculated condition, like the one we're talking about today, are definitely more valuable than those that have seen circulation. Condition is key with any coin, and because this Harper's Ferry quarter is in uncirculated condition, it's in pristine shape with no signs of wear. Uncirculated coins are sought after by collectors for their sharp details and original luster, which you don't find on circulated coins. In fact, the absence of scratches or tarnish really enhances both the beauty and the value. Uncirculated coins can receive what's known as a Mint State Mississippi grade, ranging from MS60, which is the lowest, up to a perfect MS70. For most modern quarters like this one, collectors look for coins in the MS65 to MS67 range. If you have a high-grade, uncirculated Harper's Ferry quarter, especially in MS67 or higher, you're looking at a potential bump in value. So let's talk about what this coin is worth. If you have a Harper's Ferry quarter in uncirculated condition with an MS65 grade, you can expect it to be worth around $90,000. Higher-grade coins like MS67 could fetch around $93,000, depending on market demand. An MS68, if you're lucky enough to have one that pristine, could go for $100 or even a bit more, given the right buyer. Most Harper's Ferry quarters you find in circulation will have a face value of $124,000, unless they're in extremely high-grade, uncirculated condition. This series was well circulated, so finding an uncirculated Harper's Ferry quarter in pristine condition is a great find. If you're specifically looking at Harper's Ferry quarters with a D mint mark in uncirculated condition, you'll find that they're valued similarly to the Philadelphia Mint versions. Since the Denver Mint struck over 200 million of these coins, rarity doesn't play a huge role here. However, having one in top condition with a high grade definitely adds to the collector appeal. Now, if you're aiming to keep your Harper's Ferry quarter in uncirculated condition, be sure to store it properly. Using a protective coin holder, or even better, a coin capsule, will help maintain its value over time. Avoid handling it directly, as oils from your fingers can tarnish the coin and impact its grade. So to recap, a 2016 Harper's Ferry quarter with a D mint mark in uncirculated condition can range from $129,000 in MS65 up to around $154,000 for MS67, and could even go beyond $100 if it reaches a high grade like MS68. Collectors of the America the Beautiful series appreciate coins in uncirculated condition for their detail and historical significance. Next up, the 1967 Washington quarter with a large date and no mint mark, found in a dirty or circulated condition. Let's find out what this coin is worth in today's auction market. 1967 was a unique year for U.S. coin production. Due to coin shortages and a high demand for currency, the U.S. Mint produced a massive number of quarters in 1967, but without mint marks to reduce the possibility of collectors hoarding coins by mint location. That year, over 1.5 billion quarters were minted, making the 1967 quarter one of the most common coins in circulation at the time. This 1967 Washington quarter features the standard design with Washington's profile on the obverse and the American eagle on the reverse. The large date is prominently displayed, and with no mint mark, it's clear that this quarter could have been minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This coin is in what we'd call a dirty or heavily circulated condition. You'll notice a lot of wear on Washington's profile and some tarnish from years of circulation. In this condition, most of the finer details, like the texture in Washington's hair, may be worn smooth, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse may show heavy wear. Now, let's talk about the value. In today's auction market, a 1967 Washington quarter in heavily circulated or dirty condition generally sells for around $65,000 or more. This coin does not contain any silver, as Washington quarters from 1965 onward were minted in a copper-nickel alloy. Its value, therefore, is mostly tied to its face value unless it has a unique error or is in exceptional condition. While this coin may not bring a high dollar amount, it's still an interesting piece of numismatic history, especially for anyone focusing on the Washington quarter series. To sum it up, the 1967 Washington quarter in dirty or circulated condition is a fun find but doesn't carry much additional value above its face value. However, it's an essential part of the Washington quarter series, especially for collectors who want to complete a set from the 1960s. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and tap the bell icon to stay updated on all our coin videos. Let us know in the comments if you have any 1967 quarters in your collection.